Welcome to Variant, my comic comrades. A couple of years ago, we ran down our list of the 10 craziest facts about Marvel Comics. But what about DC? Considering they've been publishing comics since 1934, it's only reasonable to assume that they've got plenty of bizarre and or fun facts of their own. So let's take a look at a few and count on our list of the 10 craziest facts about DC Comics. When we first started looking at this list, we realized pretty quickly that this list would not be easy to narrow down, as 83 years is a long time and a lot of room for craziness in the world of comics. So we did our best to add a mix of the most interesting, funny, and sometimes bizarre facts in DC's long history, starting with the first entry on the list at number 10. When legendary writer Alan Moore was developing Watchmen for DC, he based all his characters off other existing comic book characters. Rorschach was based on The Question, Comedian was based on Peacemaker, Dr. Manhattan was based on Captain Atom, Night Owl on Ted Kord Blue Beetle, Ozymandias was based on Thunderbolt, and Silk Spectra on Nightshade. And if you didn't know that before, you might be reacting how I did a few years ago when I learned about this, which was something like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. At number 9 is that the design for one of Batman's most notorious villains, the Penguin, was pulled and inspired by the advertising mascot for Cool Cigarettes, who were established in 1933, 7 years before the Penguin was created. Here are the two side by side, and as you can see, this is 100% where DC pulled their inspiration from. Cool's character has the top hat, eye monocle, and everything. At number 8 is a fun fact I've mentioned in the past, but it's so crazy that it deserves another mention. DC once created a character called Dog Welder. Why is he called Dog Welder, you ask? That's because he welds dead dogs to people's faces. Yeah, you heard me correctly, he welds dead dogs to people's faces. I really don't think I need to say anything more. Number 7 is probably the craziest fact on this list. In the 1970s, when DC wanted to make their first black headlining superhero, they almost went with a character that would have been known as the Black Bomber. But this is where it gets crazy. The Black Bomber was a white racist who turned into a black superhero when he was stressed out. And he gained this ability due to a military experiment with a camouflage chemical. That's just... I don't even know. Writer Tony Isabel ultimately convinced DC not to move forward by saying something like, and I'm paraphrasing here, do you really want one of DC's first black headlining superheroes to be a white bigot? So thankfully the character didn't get published because, holy crap, Batman. Moving on to fact number 6, did you know that the Joker was actually supposed to die in his first appearance in Batman issue 1? It's true. Robin even says, look, still grinning in death, meaning he was killed dead. Not that there's a non-dead version of being killed, but you guys know what I mean. Anyway, he was saved by editor Whitney Ellsworth, who saw future potential for the character, and man oh man was he right. So I guess we should all be thankful to Ellsworth for not letting the Joker die. Coming in at number 5 is the fact that Superman wasn't always the red and blue superhero we all know today. Superman creators Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster originally created Superman for their The Reign of Superman story. In this storyline, Superman was a bald character who gained incredible psychic powers from an experimental drug and then used his powers for evil, before losing them and being ashamed that he would only be remembered as a villain. But they eventually gave the name Superman to another character they created, and that became the Superman we know and love today. It's funny how things worked out. Moving along, we have fact number 4. Bruce Wayne's IQ is actually way better than one of the most brilliant men to ever live, Albert Einstein. Einstein's IQ was said to be about 160, and to put that in perspective, an IQ of 140 means you're a genius. While Bruce Wayne's IQ has been stated to be 192, meaning he's leaps and bounds smarter than Einstein and Stephen Hawking, if he was real, that is. Fact number 3 is that the text font Comic Sans MS is based off the lettering style from The Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen. The creator of the font based it off the two comics because he had them in his office, hence the word comic being in the name of the font. Number 2 may not surprise you, which is that Batman has appeared in more theatrical release movies than any other comic book character ever. He's appeared in theaters in the '66 Batman movie, the '89 Batman movie, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, the Lego Movie, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, the Lego Batman Movie, and the upcoming Justice League film, which brings us to a grand total of 14 times Batman has appeared on the big screen. And finally, at number 1 is a fact that many of you already know, but I have to mention it either way. which is that the DC in DC Comics stands for one of their most popular comic series and where Batman made his first debut, Detective Comics. Basically, DC's full name is Detective Comics Comics, which I find hilarious. Again, I'm sure most of you already knew that, but it's still worth me mentioning. So, did I miss anything? Let me know if you have any other crazy or fun DC facts in the comment section down below. And remember to head over to variantcomics.com for even more discussion about DC's craziest facts.